Good evening, and welcome again to the Thaddeus Matthews TV show that I allow those of you in social media world to take a glimpse into what goes on in the television studios. Was that proper enough? Oh boy. Y'all okay this evening? Good, good, good. Us is gonna be ready in just a minute. Mm, we getting ready to go in just a moment. All right. Y'all had a good day today. That's good. Did y'all view my fuck you Friday message? Have you had any response to it on Facebook?
Yeah, they comment on
All right. We gonna pick up from where we were last night of the grief situation, but I'm gonna deal with why some folk can't let go of their dead loved ones, and then I'm gonna let y'all know the difference in the spirit coming to you, and y'all and them ghosts. The ghosts hunt y'all. Ghosts come get y'all that ain't did shit. Mm. Mm. It is officially 7 o'clock, and at the top of the hour.
my birthday starts tomorrow.
Mm. Well, everybody had a birthday. Get a birthday and a death day. What am I trying to do? Oh, okay. Now, who the hell is this?
Hello?
Yeah, who is this?
Now, Mystic brings up a book video out there, right? This is your
So what?
this is your
Who the fuck are you?
Now, Mystic brings up a book video out
Bitch, suck a big dick this evening. I don't feel like worrying with you motherfuckers this evening. Bye. Damn. Don't fuck with me already. Excuse me, I didn't mean to say that on the TV.
Yeah.
I didn't. Excuse me. I apologize. Ignorant ass. Do I look cute, handsome this evening? I gotta go get this shape up again. And just when you thought it was safe, it is absolutely, positively not. And good Friday evening to you, and welcome again to still the most controversial television talk show in the whole entirety of the planet. Are y'all feeling all right this evening? I'm feeling marvelous. I've had a busy day, as always, and my days are getting busier and busier because I'm working on a big project for the next. I can't tell y'all until I put some things on some paper, but there are some great things that I'm looking to do this year as far as the Naked Truth of Liberation and Empowerment Ministries is concerned. And one of them is cutting some of my costs. Lift your heads and go and tell the Lord thank you. If y'all don't, I do. But I'm going to be telling you about some new and improved and exciting things that I'm looking forward to this year. Well, they got Frederick Smith. Everybody, all the crooks named Fred, ain't damn. Pastor Frederick Smith was indicted on today. Fred Smith is a preacher that I dealt with, and I bust the story. It's been over a year ago that dealt with him stealing money from one of his members. He stole about $60,000 from an elderly member of the church, and he has been indicted on those charges. So I'm looking forward to Pastor Frederick Smith going to jail. I've dealt with Fred Smith on several issues. From, you remember that homosexual video I did that millions of people did about homosexuality in the church? And then the man came out and said that Pastor Smith was trying to suck his thing in the palm. You remember that, Dale? Pastor Fred Smith, what's the name of that church? You don't know nothing this evening. But the man got arrested for, Fred Smith, down in Harbortown, the man said that Fred Smith got him out the park where the homeless people be, took him down on the river, and Pastor Fred Smith was trying to suck on this, in the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost. Slurp, slurp, slurp. But they finally got his crooked ass. He was indicted on today. Yes. Yes. And see, but y'all don't go to preacher churches like that. He was foaming on the mouth out last year when I did the story. And it became big news. And naturally, if I do something 13, then all the rest of them pick it up. They showed him foaming on at the mouth, on the floor, rolling around, shabba-dabba-doing, and all that mess. But Pastor Smith, I'm so glad they got your ass. I brought the family of the elderly lady on the show last year. And they were just they were wondering if anything was going to happen. Here you are, stole over $60,000, forged the lady's name from an elderly member of the church. He lost that church on Winchester, hadn't he? Because they got a for sale sign up there. Then he went down the street and he lost that place. He probably ain't got no home now. He can't even sing like Dorothy. There's no place like home. But anyway, he's not who I want to talk about. But since he was on the news, I thought I'd bring him up. I don't like his ass either. Look like everybody I don't like named Fred. All right, let me get off into what I really want to talk about on tonight. I want to continue my discussion that I had on last night when we were dealing with death, grief, dying, and is there life after death? And I had several of you because you didn't get in last night to talk about, your mama coming to see you or your loved one coming to see you. But I want to take it into another area in dealing with grief on tonight. I want to deal with the aspect of when you can't let go. And I also want to give you some tips on some things when death does occur. And my tips come from spending many years around funeral homes. As a small boy, I was working for N.H. Owens Funeral Home. I worked for J.O. Patterson Funeral Home. I worked for M.J. Edwards Funeral Home. I worked for Southern Funeral Home. I worked for N.J. Ford and Sons Funeral Home. I worked for E.H. Ford and Sons Funeral Home, Oaks Funeral Home, Chelsea Funeral Home, way back in the day. So I've been around funeral homes. At N.J. Ford and Sons, I was known as a body snatcher. Yeah, that word is there are really body snatchers. And what my job was, I worked on commission. My job was to go and bring families in to N.J. Ford and make sure they got a good funeral. And I made 10% of the funeral bill. So I was on call 24 hours a day. And it was called body snatching because that's what I did. My job was to bring business into the funeral home. So I know the good, the bad, and the ugly of the business. And I do want to take time right here. Lady that I met several times and had been to Naked Truth, she been there once or twice there.
About 6 times.
She came to church about 6 times, okay. A close friend of Dale's, and Dale, wait a minute, come fix this Instagram. I think I messed it up. A close friend of Dale's, since I was 9 years old, wasn't it?
6 hours.
So she was older than you. Since Dale was 9 years old, her and this lady had been friends. Vivian Cooks, who passed away early on this morning. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Vivian Cooks. And again, she passed away early this morning. So, Dale's in mourning. Well, that was your friend.
That was my friend.
That was, and Vivian had been sick for a while. So my condolences go out to the family of Miss Vivian Cooks. And I know Dale gonna want to take off for the funeral. Okay, so Dale, you can get off for the funeral. And I ain't gonna say nothing behind it. I'm gonna just say, Dale, I understand your grief. And when your friend's funeral is held, um, you can take off for the funeral, okay? And bring me some lunch back too. But I joke about death because death is a very common thing, okay? Death is one of the most common things that happen. Let me give you a few points, then I want to jump into this. In death, first thing you need to understand, you need some insurance. You got insurance on your car, you got insurance on your phone, have some insurance on your life. You may not be able to leave family members a whole lot of money, but at least make preparations for your own funeral, okay? How you're going to be buried, how you want to be buried. Make your plans. Make a living will. Write down your desires as to what happens to you at the point of your demise. When you go to the funeral, if you got insurance, when you go to the funeral home, and I'm telling you because I know the games that are played in the funeral business. Understand, one of the greatest body snatchers in Memphis taught me something. His name is Harold Ford Sr. He was a great body snatcher. Because Harold could walk into a house as the U.S. congressman and folk would try to kill somebody else again because the congressman was at the house. But one thing that I learned from the congressman was this. Every family member goes through a period of temporary insanity, okay? I want you to also understand that when death occurs and you call on the funeral home, what is the funeral home in the business of? To make money, okay? That's their business. Just like advertising is my business. If you own a donut shop, you want to sell all the donuts you can. The funeral home is in the business of making money. If your mama has a $50,000 insurance policy, do not walk into a funeral home and give them the policy. Mm-mm. Why? Because the funeral director is going to look at the policy. And when he looks at the policy and see that the beneficiary is going to receive $50,000, guess what? The funeral director does not want to sell you a cheap funeral. He does not want you to have a $3,000 to $5,000 funeral. He wants you to spend as much money with his facility as he can. For instance, he'll take you into the casket selection room. You looking at a basic minimum metal casket that has no bells and whistles on, just a plain casket, a non-sealer casket. What is a non-sealer casket? That's the one you're gonna hear go click when they let the lid down, okay? If it go click when they let the top down and it go click, you can hear it clanging, you in a cheap casket, okay? You are. A good casket is a sealer casket. That's the one that has the rubber around it. That when they close the lid, it's quiet. Then they go to the end of the casket, screw the little cap off, stick the handle in there, stir it. That locks the casket. That seals the casket, that keeps the air out of the casket. Your mama, your loved one is sealed. Well, if you got a $50,000 policy, or $100,000 policy, or a $200,000 policy, and you hand that to the undertaker before you make your selection, he's gonna bypass everything that's less expensive. Now, the markup on a casket is usually 6 to 10 times the cost that he's gonna charge you. A minimal metal casket that he probably pays maybe $300 for, that casket is gonna cost you $3,500. He ain't paid for $300 and some odd dollars for it. I hope I'm gonna help somebody tonight as I get into this grief. But the markup on a casket, 6 to 10, sometimes even 100% or more on a casket. And what's somebody say, it's a casket open full body is cheap too. No, a full couch casket is what it's called. The price on a full couch casket, which is where you see yourself from head to toe, that one's gonna cost you a little bit more because you're seeing the whole body. You're not to dress the whole body, and anyway. But that's gonna cost you a little bit more. But the funeral home is not going to want, if you got $100,000 policy, $50,000 policy, they're gonna try to sell you the best funeral that you can get. They're gonna tell you, your mama deserved to be in a fine casket. Your mama was a great lady. You loved your mama, didn't you? Yes. Then, look, don't even worry about these caskets over here. Let me put your mama in this primrose casket. That's the one that's got the roses and stuff on it. Your mama put you in a pink one, let's put your mama in this pink primrose casket. Or sell you a baseball casket, which is a top of the line casket. Because what? The funeral home is in the business of making money. Let me give you another mistake that a lot of you make when you go to the casket. Now, I do want you to know you can order your caskets online. Funeral homes don't want you to know that. And I got ready last year to open a casket business. Okay. I had a company that I was going to buy caskets from at the same wholesale cost that funeral homes do. Well, funeral directors in Memphis got wind that I was going to go into the casket business. And they put pressure on the manufacturer out of Texas, same place they get their caskets from. They put pressure on the distributor not to sell me, because if they sold to me, they were going to take their business elsewhere. So I couldn't go into the casket business. And see, I didn't have to be a licensed funeral director or anything to sell caskets. But I knew that in the Memphis market, if I was telling people that that same casket that they were paying Memphis Funeral Homes $6,500 for, that I'll sell you that same casket for $3,500. Or I could sell you that casket because of the price of it. I could sell you that casket for even just a little less. I knew that it was going to upset the funeral business. Now, understand the law. The Federal Trade Commission, the law allows you to buy a casket elsewhere than a funeral home. You do not have to buy a casket from a funeral home. The casket is a big item, big ticket item on a funeral bill. I'm gonna get into the grief in just a moment, but I just thought I'd give y'all some pointers on this before I got into the grief. Because sometimes you got some grief because you can't bury your loved one the way you want to. Get some insurance first of all. But I was gonna go into that business. I was gonna fill the gymnasium up with caskets. I can order a casket in any color. In fact, you can go online, the same company that they use, I can go online and pull the caskets. Any color, I could get caskets for, like if your husband was a Dallas Cowboy fan, I could get you a Dallas Cowboy casket. A Steelers fan, I could get you a Steelers casket. I could get you a purple casket, a blue casket, a red casket. I could get all of those caskets, but the company called me back and said, can't do business with you. Because this funeral home, that funeral home, that funeral home had said, we will not do business with you, and we buy caskets by the truckload from you. So that little business idea of mine went out the window, okay? Let me give you one other point, then I'm going to take a commercial break and then come back into what I really want to deal with. When your loved one passes, why do y'all take the whole family to the funeral home? I've seen some great fights at the funeral home. Why? Why take the whole family? See, there's only one person that the funeral home really wants to see. And that's the person, see, when there were arguments, when I was at NJ Ford and I was the hustler and I'd take people into the casket room and they get to arguing. I want mama to have this. I want mama to have that one. No, I want mama to have that. Well, there was one question that I could ask in that room that silenced the room. Everybody hollering and fussing and cussing. My question would become, who's going to be responsible for the funeral bill? When you ask that question, there's a calmness that comes across the room. And only the person that has the money or is the beneficiary is going to answer the question. Quit taking everybody to the funeral home. When my mama died, it's been almost 4 years. When my mama died, I didn't take nobody. I didn't take nobody. I'm the next of kin. I'm the oldest. I knew that the best embalmer in town, the very best, probably in the planet. I saw Ed Ford the other week take a body that was totally huh?
Deformed.
Well, because of people, well, they don't know what I'm talking about, was totally deformed looking. And they wanted to show their loved one the way that their loved one looked when their loved one was living, when they was well, not sick. Ed Ford is the best embalmer that I've ever seen. And I've known Ed a long time, and I've known a whole lot of embalmers. I knew that Ed Ford could make my mama look like she was laying in the bed, sleep. So I didn't have to ask nobody that question. Okay? Ed was gonna do it. I didn't give a damn about what nobody else thought. I got one sister and two living brothers. I didn't ask them. Then my mama was slick. I went to the funeral home, had the policy, picked out a $12,000 funeral, Batesville gold casket. And all the bells and vault and everything. Then my mama got slick in her life. My mama was like that. And this is what you always got to check with your loved ones as well. My mama had borrowed off of her insurance policy. Okay? My mama did that. So I got the funeral together and signed the papers, gave him the policy. I used up whatever it was, I was gonna use up every dime of it, with nobody gonna have a dime left. Because I didn't want to profit off my mama. So Ed calls me and tells me, Mama's policy ain't no good. He called her mama. He knew my mama. I said, huh? Mama had borrowed off of her policy. Well, what was I to do? It's what I did. I went on and paid out of my pocket for my mama's funeral. Now, didn't nobody else have no monies? Y'all been there. Have y'all been there? Okay. You know, everybody want what they want, but ain't nobody got no money to help with what they want. So that was my mama. So everybody act as though they didn't have no money. And they may not have had. I said, we're going forth with what I've already picked out. I'll just pay it myself. I paid it for the funeral. I called Stephen Smith, that y'all see here on Tuesday nights, because I wasn't going to the black-owned cemetery. No, they don't cut the grass. I didn't want grasses and hedges growing up on my mama. So I went out to Memorial Park Southwind, paid that $2,000 for the grave, because that was my mama. I wasn't gonna get no GoFundMe. I wasn't gonna be on TV begging, please help me bury my mama. I wasn't gonna do that. So I paid for the funeral. But I learned that with your loved ones, and my mama liked to dress up, so that's what my mama did. My mama probably got some money off of the thing and bought her some of them, what was the name of it? Catherine Stout Shop. Went to the Catherine Stout Shop and probably just bought up the whole damn store. But that was my mama. So I buried my mama. Didn't nobody else have no monies. Didn't nobody attempt to help. When I went out and got my mama a headstone, I got her headstone with her picture on it. And when I got ready to do it, I asked everybody, did nobody have no munchies? So what I put on the headstone, Dale?
From your son, Thaddeus.
From your son, Thaddeus. I didn't put nobody else's name on that. Didn't nobody give me no monies. So you weren't gonna pretend as though you wasn't gonna take credit. No. From your son, Thaddeus. And it's still on there today as her body lays in the ground. I am not going to ask if I'm in charge of the funeral services, I ain't asking nobody what you want. I'm gonna make sure, like I did with my mother, that you are buried to the best of my ability. Okay? That's what you're supposed to do with your loved one. But I want to deal, and I just thought I'd throw those little tad bits out there to help some of you who may be going through and dealing with death and dying. But what I want to talk about tonight is grief. And let me give you something else as we shared with you last night, as we talked about spirits and ghosts. There's a difference in a spirit and a ghost. Spirits bring you comfort. Ghosts hunt you. Some of y'all are being hunted because you didn't treat the folk right when they was living. Let me tell you something. Them folks that you see at funerals that's running and trying to pull the body up out the casket, they falling all out the floor. And as a guy that worked on hundreds of funerals and stood at the head of the casket, I didn't catch your ass. Unless you're one of them fine, big titted girls and you needed some comforting, I catch you. But them great big old women falling, oh, I want to go with my mama. Go on. I ain't gonna catch you. I'm gonna let you hit that floor. Tell the Ursula to come here. Ursula, will you come here? Move her out the way. Roll her up under the pew if it's necessary, so I can keep my line going as the folk view. The folk that you see falling out at funerals didn't do nothing for the folk when they were living. When the folk needed a cool drink of water, wouldn't give them a cool drink of water. So now the reason that you are grieving, you are in the guilt mode of grief. You know that you didn't treat the person that is deceased, you didn't treat them right when they was living. So now grief has taken over you. You wouldn't go by and see them. You didn't have time to have a conversation with them, and their death caught you by surprise. And now your grief factor is guilt. Grief is not limited to feelings of sadness. It can also involve guilt, anger, and regret. Yeah. See, I can stand at the casket and tell you who finna fall out. If I'm standing there at the casket, see, the person that's gonna fall out, they're the person that's gonna fall out at the casket. Don't start when they get to the casket. They start in the line coming to the casket. You have to watch these things. They already sniffing harder than everybody else. They've got to be dramatic. Okay? They want folk that know that they didn't do nothing for the people when they living. They want the people to feel as though I'm really sorry. I'm really pitiful. Oh, I'm gonna miss my mama. Okay. So you trying to fool the folk that know that you didn't do nothing, and the folk that's there to see your mama. You started fooling them, so you started being dramatic. It takes 2-3 folk to hold you. I don't hold you. My job is to make sure nothing happens to the deceased. I ain't no damn Ursula. Okay? I ain't no Ursula. They start out, and as they get closer to the casket, Then you get to the casket and look, your ass gonna hit the damn floor. Cause again, if you ain't a big fine girl with some big titties and a wide ass, I wasn't gonna catch your ass. You gonna hit the damn floor. Your grief is out of guilt. Okay? Then there are those who grieve out of anger. Yeah, you mad. There are two factors to the grief factor of anger. You mad because the person died, but then sometimes you grieving and you're angry because mama them didn't leave your ass nothing. Don't look like that, Dale. It's the truth. I've seen it. You want to see a fight in a family? Let somebody die that got a car, a house, and a little money in the bank and didn't have a will saying where that money is going to go. It's going to be a fight. It's going to be a fight when mama closed her eyes. Mama wanted me to have the house. No, mama told me I could have the house. Mama told me I could have her fur coat. No, mama told me I could have the silverware. There is always, see, and you got that one person in the family that's a damn fool. Okay? Ain't did nothing, wouldn't come sweep a floor, wouldn't wash a dish, wouldn't stop by Church's Chicken and get the mama a box of chicken. But when death comes, you want to be in charge and ain't got no money. Ain't got nan dime. And folk think that when you die, they supposed to get your stuff. They deserving of your stuff. No. Do your paperwork before you die. And don't say, well, I got a power of attorney. Let me give you something else. A power of attorney is not worth the paper that is written on when you die. A power of attorney is only good when you're alive. The moment you close your eyes, let me give you something, and I really want to get to this group thing. If you living with a man or you living with a woman that got a husband, I don't give a damn if they've been separated 29 and a half years. If he dies, baby, you've been with him 29 years as his woman, because he never divorced his wife. I don't care if she way over in Timbuktu. She is entitled to everything that is his. He got a house, and your name ain't on it, she can put you out. If your name is on the house, you won't have to buy out his interest and give it to the wife. He got a car in his name, that's her car. Any money that's in the bank is his money. If you don't have a will at death, and even with a will, there is certain rights that a spouse is going to have unless it's designated on paper. Okay. I loved him. Let me tell you this. Oh, she going to the door anyway. Let me tell you what I saw happen. I seen this. Ain't that what the young folks say? Seen it. I seen this. There was a man that died. And, ooh, I can't think of what the funeral home's name now. Orange Mound. It was MJ Edwards' sister. Ooh, well as I know the name of that funeral home. Oh, God. Well, my good friend, he's dead now, Shelton. What's the name of that funeral home? It wasn't Orange Mound Funeral Home. They picked the body up. Well, we have been trying to get, I got stories for you. I could write a book with these stories. We've been trying to get the body at N.J. Ford. Oh, I can't think of the name of that funeral home right now because I want to. It was right there on Marshall. God, I can't think of the name of the funeral home. One of the few funeral homes, black funeral homes I didn't work at. Victory. Thank you. Somebody on here, political thought. You're right. That was the name of it, Victory Funeral Home. Everybody telling me now, Victory, yeah, thank you. No, it wasn't Harrison's. This was Victory's funeral home. The man died. They picked up the body, dressed him out. His girlfriend that he had been with for a number of years chose Victory Funeral Home. Well, we found out that was a wife. Wife didn't know he was dead. So made the call, your husband gone. I don't give a damn about the blah, blah, blah. I said, the darling, he got this, that, another. She said, oh, my husband dead. Ooh, how did he die? I told her, I don't even remember how he died. I said, his girlfriend, you know, I always been a little messy. His girlfriend took him over to the Victory Funeral Home. I went by to talk to her. I was trying to get over here at N.J. Ford and Son, and she drove off in his brand new truck, and we didn't talk to me. I'm on my way to Memphis. The wife came with the marriage license and said, I want y'all to have my husband's body. It's her husband now. Her sweet, dear husband that she loved, that she had been with over 20-some years, but she loved him. So, the funeral was planned for like Wednesday or Thursday in the week at Victory Funeral Home. I want y'all to have the funeral, have the body. I called over the Victory Funeral Home. I talked to Shelton. I said, Shelton, y'all got the body of Mr. whatever his name was. Yeah. I said, Shelton, y'all going to release that body because the wife, we have the wife. We already got this funeral handled. She had an insurance policy on it. I said, Shelton, you know that don't mean a thing. Y'all need to get that woman back her monies and let us come get the body. Well, if you do come get it, it's gonna cost you this, that, and the other. Let me give y'all something else, especially those of y'all in Memphis. A funeral home cannot demand that you pay them before they release your loved one. It's done a lot here in Memphis. But you cannot hold a body hostage. That's a whole nother story though. So I told the wife, that they don't want to release your husband. So we went and got an order of repossession. Okay? Went and got an order of repossession. It's called a replevin. Went to the sheriff's department, got an order of repossession. And I said, Shelton, don't y'all go on with that funeral. We done sent the car to pick the family up. We finna have this funeral. I said, okay. So Tom Marshall, some of y'all remember Tom Marshall that was on the sheriff's department. He dead now. We went over to the funeral home while the funeral was going on. I can see this like it was yesterday. It was so dramatic. I pulled up in one of them big old pretty black hearses. New hearses that we had over there at NJ Ford. And the sheriff was with us. I said, look, Shelton, don't do this, man. Let us have the body. Just explain it to the family and roll him out the side door. But they already had the man open. The family was going in with the girlfriend to view the body. I said, Shelton, I got the sheriff here. Sheriff told me we could take possession of the body. The wife, no, that bitch ain't finna have no funeral over my husband. That's my husband, and that bitch ain't finna sit there and cry on the front row. Go up there and get my husband out that casket. Get him out. I don't even want him to stay in that casket. I said, Sheriff, we stopped the funeral. I swear for God we did this. Get my husband. The girlfriend trying to puff up, swell up, all her kinfolk. The sheriffs was there. So I said, ma'am, this is the wife. They ain't been together in 20-some years. I said, yeah, but she got this little piece of paper that says she misses whatever his name is, and all of the rights go to her as to what happens with her husband. The bitch can't have him. No, bitch, you can't have him. He my man. No, bitch, he my husband. And he laying there saying, I'm so glad I'm dead, because I sure don't want to be in the middle of this. So the sheriff told me, get the body. I brought the stretcher into their funeral home, opened up their casket, took Mr. What's-His-Face off. I don't want him to even have that suit on. I said, baby, let's not make your husband naked here. Let's at least take him back to the funeral home before I undress him. And we're going to put a new suit on him, because we already add that to your bill. We're going to put a new suit on him. All right, well, go. We got him, cover him up, put him in that hearse, and went on back. Left them at the scene with a casket. What am I saying to you? Ladies, if you're with a man that's married, and he's sickly, and he got a wife, you ain't got no power. You ain't got no authority. You're going to lose everything. And again, even if your name is on the house, you're going to have to sell the house and give that wife the portion of the money in that house. All right, I just thought I'd give y'all some tips on a few things. We're gonna take a commercial break, then we're gonna come back and talk about grief and why do people hold on here on the Thaddeus Matthews Show. How you doing? Good. So I said, that's how I'm gonna act. I laughed about that. Took him on back to the funeral home and gave him a great funeral. Get some hair, old man. You can get this hair around my balls if you want, mister. I got plenty of hair on my balls. I don't like hair on my head.
What do you own? Instagram?
Instagram. I shave my head like your hairy pussy ass mammy ought to shave hers. With her wolf pussy having ass. You motherfucker, you. Let the church say mine. Yeah. I could have sold popcorn to that funeral service, that boy. Cause folk had never seen that happen before, Dale.
I'm sure I ain't never seen it happen.
Ooh. Hell, I had to get my 10%. Damn that. I think he was retired from Mental Like Gas and Wall. Shoot, I think he got about a $15,000 funeral. My commission was about $1,500. I didn't let a tear fall down off her face. You finna cry again? We're gonna put an Ursula beside you. Want me to tell you who died and didn't pay for his funeral? Alex Haley. The man that wrote Roots or Roots.
I know that.
Yeah.
I thought you was gonna say somebody else.
That motherfucker. We never did get our money from Alex Haley's estate. Drove all them damn cars, put on a whole damn show. Had to go all the way to Ripley, Tennessee. Boy, I can write a book on some of these funeral stories.
Maybe you should.
Like the man in Voodoo Village. Woo. And all the fat motherfuckers that want to die upstairs. Motherfucker, you know you're gonna die. Come on downstairs.
How they know?
Huh? Shit. All the fat motherfuckers would die upstairs. Or either when they die, you get one of them 500 or 600 pounds that die. How come the motherfucker wanna roll over between the bed and the damn wall? Shit. Woo. Shit. Boy, I could tell you some stories. So what happens when the funeral home don't get paid? You don't have no funeral nowadays, baby, until you have a funeral. The wolf pack, oh, you gone. You don't have no funeral. But I remember, and when it was, lady called us to come get her brother. And the brother weighed about 600 pounds. Got over to her house. She lived over in Glenview. I walked in all undertakerish. Yes. Where is the deceased? He upstairs. He died upstairs. Police was already there when I got there. And that motherfucker sniggering and laughing. I said, what the fuck wrong with you? Going upstairs and see. So I go upstairs. This motherfucker, 500-600 pounds, and died, he's 600 pounds. He didn't sleep in the bed, okay? He slept on his knees. He didn't sleep in the bed. The bed wouldn't hold him. So he slept on his knees by the bed, okay? So when his ass died, instead of him getting his ass up and going downstairs, how you doing, sir? The motherfucker dies up there in between the bed and the wall. I look at that shit. I said, God damn. This is finna take the rest of my motherfucking day. So I gotta call back to the funeral home because I gotta have some help. So we're gonna send you another guy. No, you need to send me more than one. So we get about 4 to 6 guys. So the family all standing there, how y'all gonna get him? And I'm wanting to say, how come y'all didn't tell this motherfucker to take his fat ass downstairs if he gonna die? Shit. In fact, he could have walked his ass over to the funeral home and we could have got him from there. So, what y'all gonna do? So the other guys looked at me. What we gonna do? How we gonna get him out? Because he's 506 pounds and now you're dead weight. You can't help us pick your ass up. I said, okay. What we had to do was take the furniture out the room. Now, I don't do no goddamn manual labor. So we gotta take the bed out the room. So I said, okay. We laid a sheet down. What you do with them big motherfuckers? You lay a sheet down on the floor and roll his ass.
10 seconds.
Oh, this is gonna be a good story. Roll his ass over on that sheet.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
All right. I don't guess I need to continue that story on air and do it there.
Negative.
I was telling Dale how, when folk 500 and 600 pounds die, look like they always want to die with their ass upstairs some damn way. Okay, you're 500-600 pounds and you finna die, at least bring your ass down the steps. But anyway, I ain't gonna tell the rest of what we did live on the TV. Woo. Somebody said you should have gotten into the window, let him fall onto the gurney down below. No, I do know of another story where there was a man that died upstairs and I was at N.H. Owens. The fire department had to come and break out around the window and put one of them things on them, the lifts, and lift the body up out the house, lower it down. Couldn't put him in the hearse. Had to call a wagon. And you think I'm lying, Dale. All the stories I can tell about the funeral business and folk dying would make a book. Woo. Okay. All right, I'm through. Let me talk about now I'll tell you, Latasha, I'll probably tell you out the next break. Grief. Why is it that some people can't let go? Dealing with grief takes a different amount of time for everyone. Everybody does not grieve at the same level because of various personalities, relationship, health, and even lifestyle factors. The thing that's the same for everyone is that we need to allow ourselves to move through the grieving process in our own way. This includes actively dealing with grief after losing a loved one, as well as gently allowing yourself to heal naturally. I made some points this evening. I was sitting there and I was thinking about some of the ways or some of the symptoms of people who cannot release their loved ones after death. You run into those who will have the intense sadness and emotional pain. I mean, your sadness is a state of depression. You're totally depressed. Your total being now is wrapped around the pain of the grief. And there are some people, you'll be surprised, that want to hurt. They want to feel the pain. There are those who will feel that if they are not in an emotional state of grief, it means that they didn't love their loved one. Okay? If they're not torn down, if they're not overly emotional, even dramatically emotional, they feel that if this does not happen, then they're not showing that they love that person. People who have these feelings after a person dies of emptiness and hopelessness, you don't know how you gonna make it. You don't know how you are going to survive. You just empty. That is nothing else that means anything to you. You got that yearning to be reunited with the deceased. You don't want to live. Okay? Your grief has taken over your good sense. Your husband is dead. Your child. Your child is dead. Your child was murdered. Your child was a part of an accident. Whatever the tragedy was, because your child is not there, you really want to die. You want to kill yourself. You want to be with your child. Imagine the grief that Vanessa Bryant is going through right now. Okay? Imagine that grief. And the only thing that's keeping her, I don't even want to say sane, because right now she can't be sane. She's in a state of temporary insanity, is the crowd of people that is surrounding her. So a report came out, I read it today, that when they found the body of Kobe, and I don't know how true this is that he was clutching his child. Now I can see that though, Dale. I can see, and look now, you got to remember that Vanessa Bryant is trying to picture in her mind what was happening in the last seconds of life when Kobe and realized that the plane, the helicopter was falling. the natural response of a loving father, even in the preparation of death, is to clutch that which is closest to him, which is his child. So I can see that. I can see that as the helicopter is falling 2,000 feet a minute, that he grabs hold to his daughter, knowing that death is imminent. He holds on to her. In his wife's mind, she wonders that. She's seeing that picture over and over again of that helicopter falling, her daughter and her husband falling. Some are saying that the bodies were burnt completely up. Not necessarily so. Even in being burnt, and I've seen bodies that were burnt to a crisp. I've seen it. I've seen those bodies, and all you would have was skeletal remains that were black. They were burnt, but they weren't completely ashes. So I can picture in my mind that even if they were burnt beyond recognition, that he may have been holding his child. Even if they were recovering, Selena, even if they were recovering bones, he could have still been holding her bones. So all of this is a part of the grief factor. Can you imagine? Can you imagine that happening? Can you imagine the thoughts that she's having? Can you imagine that? Can you imagine what she's got to deal with? Can you even imagine, as many in the grief factor would say, how come it couldn't have been me with him? But the report also came out that they never flew on the helicopter together. Vanessa and Kobe, for the sake of the children. In case this happened. But can you imagine, though, that this grief-stricken mother, and y'all timing out on Instagram, I'm gonna bring you right back. Can you imagine the hurt? Can't you imagine this mother saying, how come it couldn't have been me? So there is a yearning to be reunited with the deceased in the grief factor. Then you have to deal with the preoccupation with the deceased or with the circumstances of the death. That's all she sees in her mind. All she sees in her mind is a helicopter falling. All she sees in her mind is, what could she have done to keep Kobe and Gigi from leaving the house that morning. Not only will she deal with the preoccupation, she will deal with somewhat of the guilt, because in her mind, she's going to come up with, what could I have done to keep them off the helicopter? Same thing in your situations when something happens with your child. There was a lady that emailed me today and said that last night's program helped her. Her son died of epilepsy. There was nothing she could do. Dale, Facebook gone. Come fix it. There was nothing she could do. Nothing. What is it that she could do? All she's going to see every time, what's wrong?
I don't know.
Every time she closed her eyes, all she's going to see is that child, her husband. The next condition I wrote down is the difficulty of engaging in happy memories of the lost person. You don't want to think about the happy times. You don't want to engage in conversation with anyone concerning the death. You don't want nobody even talking about your loved one. You go into a state of non-existence. You want to act like they don't exist. Let me give you something that happens. Your loved one dies, and you're planning the funeral. You're okay in planning the funeral. You're okay in going to the funeral home and picking out the casket. You're okay until you see your loved one in the casket that you picked out. See, you subconsciously block out the fact that your loved one is dead. You block it out, you block it out. And the reality sets in when you see your loved one laying in the casket. You got it? Must have ran out of power or something. Is that what happened? Cock it back this way a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. You can't let it go. You avoid the reminder of the deceased. You don't want to go to the house. Y'all used to go out drinking to a bar. You don't want to go to that bar no more. Y'all used to have certain friends together. You don't want those friends no more. Because you can't let go. You detach and isolate yourself from surviving friends and relatives. You want to be all by yourself. You want to be in your own little world because you just can't let go. You have a lack of desire to pursue your personal interests. You don't want to get up in the morning. You don't want to dress yourself. You just want to mope and just be left to think of your loved one. That is a selfishness that takes place in death. Have you ever seen your loved one that's sick? I mean really sick, terminally sick. Have you ever seen your loved one just lay there and they tell you, baby, I'm ready to go. I'm tired. I'm tired of suffering. Have you ever just realized that you've known that death for them would be better than the continuous pain that you see them in? You see them hurting. You see them constantly having to put morphine in them. You hear the anguish in their voice, and they tell you, I'm ready to go. But your selfishness, and we all become selfish, it's a human trait. You ain't wrong. I can't tell you that you're wrong. But even though you know that dying for them would be better for them, it ain't better for you because you just can't let go. Damn, Pastor. Mama, I know you hurt. I know you just told me you ready to go. You tired, Mama. You tired of suffering. But I just can't let you go, even though I know you tired. I know you hurt. I know you need to go. I had to whisper into my aunt's ear, the one that raised me, that had always been there for me, that provided for me, the one that was in my corner when everybody turned their backs on me. When I knew that death was imminent and she was laying there and dying, but because she loved me, even though the death angel was in the room, even though God had to come himself to get her, she kept fighting him because she wanted to be here for me. I had to whisper in her ear and tell her, TT, it's all right. The selfish part of me wanted to hold on. If all I could do was just sit there at the bedside and watch her suffer. If all I could do was just sit there and be in pain. She didn't have to say nothing to me. She could be in anguish. But the selfish part of me didn't want her to go, didn't want her to leave me. I didn't want my rock, that woman who had prayed for me, who had been there, didn't want you to go. But then I had to realize I didn't want to see her suffer either.
knew she was in pain. I knew she was in agony. I knew that she had told me she was tired. Then, more than that, she told me I'm ready. So I knew she knew God. I knew she had a relationship with God, and I knew God wasn't going to put no more on her than she could bear. But right then, I couldn't bear it. So I had to have just a little talk with the Lord. And they said when you have a little talk with Jesus, he'll make everything all right. I said, you got to give me the strength to let her go. So I put everybody out the room. I put everybody out the room. Out the room. I didn't let the nurses, y'all got to go. I got to talk to her. And I whispered, I leaned down to her ear. And I said, TT. And I was 38 years old. I'm a big boy now. You done did all you can do for me. You've helped me correct some of my mistakes in life. You've been there when my mama had me. You were there. You brought me home. You adopted me. I never lived with nobody else but you. You found the good in me when I couldn't find the good in myself, when nobody else found the good in me. I said, but go on. Take your rest. Sleep well. And y'all, you heard me tell the story last night, how the next morning when she found out I was on the way, like I did when I called, when I got off the air on the radio, I called her. I said, go in there and tell her I'm on my way. I ain't but 10 minutes away. I can see God. Cause he made this repo, except didn't send no angels. I can see God saying, that boy on my way. You love that boy, and just like when he was a little boy with them with Buster Brown shoes on, when you got ready to go somewhere he couldn't go, you had to slip off from him. And I can hear God talking to him, Molly B, it ain't his time. He can't go with you. You got to slip off from that boy one more time. She slipped on her way. And when I got off the elevator, and the nurses met me, said, Mr. Matthews, we don't know what happened. She was in the same state she was. But when I told her that you were on your way, she slipped right on the way. When I walked into the room, that was a peace. That's beyond understanding. That was a peace. As I looked at her, dead from this world, they had closed their eyes. I was able to kiss on her forehead until you slipped off on me again, didn't you, old girl? Yes, there was a grief factor that even now, at almost 63 years old, every now and then it'll hit me. And yes, every now and then I'll feel her presence around me. And sometimes that thing get a little strong in the house. I don't know whether it's my mama or it's her. So I'll talk to both of them. Y'all ain't gonna bother me. Y'all ain't gonna worry me. But there's a comfort when I'm troubled that comes over me during that period. And I don't feel it unless I'm going through something. And I'm dealing with some things. And you know, I've been the big boy all day. I done smiled when I felt like crying. Then I can get home. And this big old burly man, 300 and I got to check them scales when I get home. I think they wrong. This big old man, I can release and let go because my mama there. So it's the same factor with you. When you feel the presence and it's comforting, that ain't a ghost. Mm. No, that ain't a ghost. See, ghosts hunt you. Spirits comfort you. Y'all can write that down. Y'all can use that one. Spirits are comforters. Ghosts, they come and bother y'all that didn't do right, that mistreated folk. They hunt you. They stay in your presence. They throw stuff at you in the house. But the presence of your loved one comforts you. The evil come. Have I got time taking phone calls? How long I got left?
You got about 30 minutes.
How long?
30 minutes?
I got 30 minutes?
Yeah.
Dog, I thought I was almost through. For Friday night. So, if you have felt the presence in your grief of your loved one, and it comforts you, it brought you inner peace, it made you feel better, that was their spirit. Their ghosts won't come. Their ghosts may go to somebody else in the family that was mistreating. That ghost gonna go and see the one that didn't bring them no cold water. You know how you tell your children, go get me some water. How come you can't go get it yourself? Yeah, that one will be funny. Yeah. Sometimes they don't always come. I've heard folks say they saw folks sitting at the edge of the bed. Now, I've asked my folks, don't do me like that. Now, don't. Because I don't want to start shooting up at my folks now. But sometimes they'll visit you in your dreams. And it'd be so real. It'd be so real. They have conversations with you in your dreams. Or is it a dream? Or is they really there in your presence and you think you're dreaming? But the reality of it is that they having a conversation with you. Good God, man. All right. All right. I'm gonna take another. Somebody here dialing me on my line, you know. Oh, they gone good. Let's take a commercial break. Then we'll come back and I'm gonna open up the phone lines here on the Thaddeus Matthews Show. The soul and the spirit is the same damn thing. Now you're trying to separate the meaning of soul and the spirit. Your soul and your spirit is the very same thing. Very same thing.
very same thing. You can't even serve God without your spirit. Your pastor said it's an illusion. Your pastor's a fool. Illusions are not real. Illusions are something that is made to appear to be real. I thought I'd have about 15 minutes. What happened to the Facebook?
I don't know.
Just bleeped out? You don't think one of them spirits came in here, did you? No, they wouldn't have cut the page off. Little Nelson, read it for your damn self. I told you that your soul and the spirit. Read something other than the Bible, man. Read the transliterations, the translations. What's the difference in the spirit and your soul? What's the difference? Your spirit is on the inside of you, your soul is on the inside of you, and they both belong to God. Whew.
And 5, 4, 3, 2.
And welcome back. Okay. Let's read this one. Okay. All right. Let me open up the phone lines. Let you give me your views. Little Nelson, you about to get blocked. The words spirit and soul is interchangeable. Okay. And while you trying to define it, I still meant exactly what I said. Your spirit is on the inside of you. That which people say that they see leaving is your spirit, is your soul. Your soul or your spirit cannot stay in a dead body. Let's go to Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Sean.
Go ahead.
Press
Oh,
one.
I
To
ain't
send a
hit the button.
voicemail, press
Mm.
2.
Go ahead, Sarah.
So, you wanted to talk about why do people grieve for so long?
Ma'am, come on, make your point.
Well, I think it's probably in the matter of how the person died. That's probably why some people grieve for a very long time.
Okay. I can accept that. I can
And
accept.
then again, I do believe what you said, when people treat other people real bad and they pass, I do believe that's why, some of them grieve for a while as well.
See, I think that there's some angry spirits. Okay? And here's what I'm saying on that. If you kill me and shoot me down, my spirit is gonna be a little upset with you. Okay? And that's the reason I think that a lot of times you see people who have killed people and taken their lives, that they end up going crazy and insane. I believe that that angry spirit comes back. Oh, you know you killed me, don't you? You shot me 16 times. Okay? So I believe in the spirit world. And even scripturally, the Bible speaks of the spirit world. And, I didn't know her to get to the world. I'm gonna try to stay here on this side as long as I can. But I do believe that there is a presence that can come back to us that is supernatural. Okay?
Definitely.
Thank you so much.
Definitely.
Thank you so much, Don.
Bye.
I just believe. Hey, don't forget about, look, your income tax. If you've gotten your W-2, and we are doing taxes today, we did taxes for people in several other states that watch me and listen to me. This morning on the radio, we started just getting calls from Ohio, Arizona, and some other places. We can get your taxes done over the phone. How you gonna? You upload all of your stuff. In fact, just call the number, and they'll be able to tell you how it's done. She's handling that. 901-552-4599. 901-552-4599. And I'm giving you, after you file your taxes, I'm giving you $25 for every person that you bring in. Okay? $25 for every person that you bring in. If you've got your W-2 form and you got all of your paperwork, or you are a self-employed individual, you need to call right now at 901-552-4599, and she'll take your call. She'll set your appointment for tomorrow. 901-552-4599. If you're not living in the city of Memphis, but you want to get your taxes done, then you can get them done. How am I gonna get my money? Well, we overnight checks. We got an advance. Our first one, that's the first one I realized we could do that, was we had one that came in on Friday. She was from Virginia. Uploaded all her stuff. We uploaded all her paperwork back to us. She sent us back the signed documentation. She got an advance of, she's getting $8,000 back. She got a $4,000 advance. She did it Friday. Her check came in on Monday. I got it to her Tuesday. We can get you advances as well.
call the number right now, 901-552-4599. 901-552-4599.
Phone. Michael. To accept, press 1.
Go ahead, Michael.
Hey, what's going on, Dad? How's it going?
Fine, brother. How are you?
I'm all right. Hey, I earlier was listening to you speak, and you was, I think you were speaking about the loss of Kobe and his wife and family and everything.
Mm-hmm.
I want to ask you, well, you made comment, like people say sometimes, they ask, what could I have done to have stopped that or changed it or whatever? I want to ask you, do you know if it speaks anything in the scripture about life being predestined? And if you don't know, do you think life is predestined?
Yeah. Yeah, you're predestined, man.
Okay, can you tell me why? If you can't, I didn't know, man, because I don't know. So I'm just really trying to.
There's a scripture, I believe it's Hebrews, and it's once appointed unto man to die, and then the judgment. Okay? Doc, we are born with an appointed time to die. Let me tell you what happened. Birth and death starts at the same time. The moment that you're born, you start to die. Okay?
Right.
Have you ever looked on an obituary or a headstone and it'll say person born 19 this, and then it's got another number that says that outlines when the year they died? What do you see between those two numbers?
Just space. I mean, just space.
You see you see a dash.
The dash, yeah, right.
Okay. Then let me tell you something, brother. The only important part of what you see is the dash. It's the dash, man.
Right.
The dash is important. What you do between the time that you're born and when you die. But yeah, see, look, nothing happens to you by accident, man. Nothing. Everything that happens to you, and nothing can happen to you out of the will of God. But here's what God does.
Right.
God gives you free will, brother.
Right.
Okay?
I believe that.
You got free will. God sets you on the right road. If you decide that you're going on the wrong road, God does not come and snatch you and say, come on here, boy. He will place in your mind what is right. He'll place in your mind what is wrong and allows you to make the decision.
Right.
Okay?
Right. I can understand that, and I believe that also. And I just wanted a little intake on that and get a little insight on it. But I believe also that life is predestined myself.
Oh yeah, everything. God, the scriptures would tell you that God has a plan for your life, brother. Give me that scripture there. Find that for me. Old Testament. God has a man. Look, in your mother's womb, these young mamas don't do this now. But back in the old days, how old are you? You 50? Well, you old enough, your mama might have did it. In the old days, man, when a female was pregnant, them old women would tell you, talk to that baby. Okay?
Right, yeah.
Read some good books, because that life is molded, man, inside of the womb. That's why before you're 9 months, before you pop out the little hole, life is already in place. Did you find it there?
Right.
It's the one that says, I know my plan and my purpose.
It's going slow.
It's going slow. Brother, you keep on. Listen, I'm going to find this scripture for you.
Okay.
But God has a plan and a purpose for your life, brother. Okay, now,
All right, I appreciate it.
and guess what God does, man? God does not hide his plan from you. God does not hide his purpose for your life from you. You just got to be wise enough to know what God's plan is for you. You got to be wise enough to accept what God's plan is for you. Man, you need to come see me one of these Sunday mornings.
I will, man.
Give me Jeremiah 29 and 11. Come see me, man.
I will, and I'm going to keep listening to you. I'm going to try to get to you so you listen to you one Sunday, man.
You do that, brother.
All right, thank you, man.
All right, you got it?
It's coming up.
Let me see if I can get mine faster. Y'all stop calling me for a minute. No, what's wrong with your phone? Yeah. Brother, it's Jeremiah 29 and 11. For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord. Plans to prosper you and not to harm you. Plans to give you hope and a future. Bro, let me tell you something. Poverty is not of God. If you are living in poverty, you're living under beneath the will that God has for you. He has a plan for your prosperity and your abundance, brother. I know, that's what the Lord said. I know my plans and my purpose for you. Now, are you willing to accept his plan and his purpose? I need y'all, so I can keep my plan and purpose going for the naked truth. I need y'all to come and get these taxes done. There's some things that I want to tell you about, and I'll probably be in a position to tell you about some of them next week. God doesn't hide his plan from you. You just sometimes don't want to accept his will for your life. Because you made up in your mind, you want your life to go one particular way, and that ain't God's plan. And the reason that you can't prosper in the plan that you made is because it ain't God's plan for you. So you got to hustle and struggle and go through changes because you have not accepted the purpose that God has for you. You weren't even speaking into being. Your prosperity, your abundance, your happiness, your life, your success is in the power of your tongue, brother. Life and death is in the power of your tongue. You've got to speak into existence that which you want God to do for you in your life. And let me tell you something. Even if you the crackhead, God got a purpose for your life, and it ain't crack. Even though you the gang member, God has a purpose for your life. It ain't gang building, banging. It ain't out here robbing. It ain't out here killing. It ain't out here stealing. And God allows you to go. Boy, y'all finna make me feel like Sunday morning, and I'm trying not to. Do you know that God has the power to change your appointment? Yeah. See, your appointed date is written in God's date book. The date book belongs to God and is appointed unto man once to die. It's in God's appointment book
But God has the power. He's the only somebody that got the power to change the appointment. Ooh. That one's deep now. You got to understand the awesomeness of God to understand that God can change your appointment. Yeah, there's an appointed time in the book. You 22 years old, you out robbing and killing, and God already knows that you robbing and killing, but you get your life together. You get your life together, and you say, God, I want to live beyond 22. I want to live beyond 25. And the God I serve, he who sits high and looks low, he's able to go into his appointment book and change your appointment from 22 to 92. Boy, y'all better let me leave that alone now, because I'm about to get in my zone. And isn't it good to know that God looks beyond your faults and he sees your need? How many minutes I got now?
5.
I got, okay, see, yeah, that he can look beyond your fault. You the drug addict. Everybody done counted you out, but God. I got a friend of mine, Brother James Jefferson. He owns Sherrod's Furniture. His daughter had been in a coma since November. The doctors gave her up. She was on life support until early this week. Doctor calls him in. She ain't gonna make it. But see, they used to tell us about that doctor who ain't never lost a patient. Y'all better count my minutes out, because I'm about to go in my zone. Yeah. Today, she was released from the hospital. They put her on life support, thinking that the only thing that can keep her alive is these machines. I hear somebody saying, but God, right now. I don't know where yet, but I heard somebody just say it, but God. She woke up out of the coma. They took the life support. I was down there, what was it, day 4 yesterday? Huh? And they opened up the FaceTime. James called his daughter on the FaceTime. And she got to talking to me on the FaceTime. I still hear somebody saying, but God. See, when man counts you out, what's that, Jeremiah 29, 9 and 11? I know my plan and purpose for you. Because because you're the drug addict tonight. Because you the gang member tonight. Because you're a good hoe. God talks to hoes. If you don't believe it, you go and read about that woman that he met at the well. Yeah, that was hitting on Jesus. I think she was hitting on Jesus. Don't you, Dale? She was flirting with Jesus at the well, and Jesus had to call her out and tell her who she was. Look, wait a minute. You had 5 husbands, and the one you with now ain't even yours. But I need you to give me a drink of water. No, you need some of this water I got. The one that will give you everlasting life. Let me tell you something. Many of you drinking from the wrong fountains. You're drinking the wrong drink. You got to get yourself, and that's the reason Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministries is a different type of ministry. See, I ain't putting on no ass like I'm perfect. I'm far from perfect. God knows I am. But he knows his plan and his purpose for my life. And because I'm able to boldly say that I'm a sinner that's being saved by his grace and his goodness and his mercy, and I'm still living off the prayers of the old folk that prayed for me. And you do know that the prayers of a righteous man prevaileth much. Yeah. How many more minutes I got? I got 1 minute. Let me tell you something. Tonight, I don't care who you are. God loves you. I don't care what your status in life is tonight. You ain't got as much money as Kobe Bryant. You ain't got the status of Kobe Bryant. But what you got that Kobe ain't got tonight, you still got life. All of his riches couldn't keep him here. His status, him being an NBA basketball legend, couldn't keep him here. But God has allowed you the opportunity to stay. Y'all need to come on and see me Sunday morning. I'll finish this Sunday morning at 10 a.m. Naked Truth Liberation and Empowerment Ministries, 3835 what's street am I on? Raleigh Milton Road. Is that y'all got me all messed up? Y'all need to get your taxes done. Y'all need to let me get these taxes done on you. We've been doing taxes from people around the country. Call and make an appointment at 901-552-4599. Let me get out of here. Monette Phillips getting ready to come on up and do her thing, her and her guests. Thank you so very much for being here with me all week long. It's been a plum pleasing pleasure. Make sure you join me Sunday morning. If you're in the Memphis area, come on by Naked Truth. If you're not, if the message, whatever it is, I don't know, I can't come up with nothing. God ain't gave me nothing. He'll give me something by the time I get up Sunday morning. And sometimes they're my best ones, the ones that come and I open my mouth and he speaks through me. Come Sunday morning, tune in on social media. I got you on the Facebook page. Until Monday morning also, the blues on 2 stations, KQPN 730 and WMQM 1600. Until we meet again, top of the evening to you. Again.